Hello, and welcome back to Geek Feng Shui, where we're making sure we're recording so we shoot videos, they will actually be usable. Not that I didn't do that just now, but we won't talk about that. So we're going to do the one video I said I wasn't going to do, and that's World of Warcraft. I had uninstalled it and kept it that way. It takes up about 100 gig of disk space or more. That's only with the one. You can get the classic that takes up even more. However you want to play it. Unfortunately it's a game that has just gotten to be too big and too spread out. Now I'm going to start over my video here. So I just done one. So when you go into your servers, there's type is normal. You do role playing, which people do. And then you can do PvP. They must not have PvP anymore. Huh. Maybe they did take that out. PvP, it was open combat. So I'm just going to pick one here. I think people got tired of being killed off. So we're going to start with an area. You have these different character classes. Both sides have a panda. They're neutral. You don't pick alliance to get to a certain level. You can't mail stuff between your characters until you do. The orc is probably the one that has Ogrimmar in it, so we're going to do that. You can go into customize, you can change a face, change the skin color, hair color, and a lot. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to do Valley Trials.
The Great Cataclysm has shattered more than just the world. War Chief Thrall, arguably the most powerful living shaman,
that is Ogrimmar,
has left his
one of the
behind
classic
so that he might stop
sounds you see in a lot of the
source.
backgrounds.
Yet in his absence, the orc champion Garrosh Hellscream
When you
has become the Horde's new
play the
war
game, you find that the developers might have been more Horde-centric than Alliance. The Horde had sometimes easier ways to take on the Alliance. It might have been more urban legend than not, but I did find after playing the Alliance for so long I went to play the Horde, that seemed to be more true than false.
Of who stands in his way. A dangerous new era for the Horde has dawned, and it falls to brave orcs like you to uphold the will of the new war chief and assure the dominance of your people.
This is the starting area. So when I played originally, I started Alliance on a PvP server because that's where my friends played. I didn't realize at the time that was 95% Horde on a server that was PvP. So you'd be going along doing your questing and suddenly someone would drop on you and boom. So I think the way they changed it on the normal servers is you can flag yourself for PvP if you want to. That marks you as red to the other side, and then they can attack you. And the flag stays on for a certain amount of time. And we would go, like if I went from the Horde to the Alliance side, we'd see 20-some level characters with their flag turned on, and it's just dumb because they're just asking to be killed. You don't get anything like ears you do for Diablo. Early on, you could not have both sides on the same server with PvP. And later on they changed that. And also early on you could transfer characters between accounts, which they did away with. They also eventually added where you could go out and buy gold, much like you can buy tokens through other games, because there was gold sellers that would employ things called bots. The bot would be an account they created and leveled them up or stole. I had a good friend of ours, a husband, and a good friend of my wife's, whose husband and kids played WoW. I had my friends list, and one day I logged in just before work, and it was like 6 a.m., and they were on and doing something, and I whispered to them, they logged off. It was like they were just unhappy that I was talking to them. I finally commented to my wife, I said, I don't know, why, are they mad at us or something? And she found out their account had been hacked, and they had to go through the ritual of getting their account back, but they were using their account to get characters into dungeons over and over and over just to loot and then sell the loot. I got to be good friends with somebody. I think I was Alliance and he was Horde. And we were max level at the time, flying around an area that was very hot for bots. Because bots would look for mining circles, orbiting circles. So more or less, not little circles around a continent. And you could see them. And we go after them, and if you kill them, they come back to their corpse and just keep going back to what they're doing. And so we finally got to talk to a GM and had kind of a chat with them, and they told us the steps to go through and how to write the report. And we reported the character, and we must have knocked about 500 accounts offline. Because one of the steps is you add them to your friends list, and then you could see when they go offline. We get an account report, and it'll be offline within 20 minutes. The guy I got to be friends with was almost reported as a bot because he, quote unquote, was watching a movie and wasn't watching the screen, but having gotten to know him, I'm not going to say I knew that for a fact or not. And I meant to shout out Chaotic Good Brewing. It's what orcs like to drink. There's flight points. I'll show you that. And you have the Horde mounts. You see waypoints. It's not fly for free. It's like in Scotland, when we were there was P for free, and then there's P for penance, or whatever you want to call it, where you had to pay to use a bathroom. One of the funnier stories early on is you could transfer characters between accounts, and my daughter wanted to do some of the, she had watched me play and wanted to do some of the stuff, and so I got the game for her, and then I transferred a Warlock over. I'm drawing a blank what they're called here. Anyway, I transferred over and she was playing, and our computers are on different floors, and I didn't know she was playing because I was playing on the opposite side, so I didn't see her on the list from that side. Anyway, this Warlock was just giving me fits in this battleground. I just couldn't. Got to the point where it was just annoying, frustrated with my gameplay. And so you reach that point where it's just get up, walk away, and get some air and do something else. I came up and she was laughing. So, didn't you see me do a slash wave? I was very proud. This guild I got into that finally broke me, Warcraft, had to do with petty things that can happen within a guild. There was a couple that liked to be healers. And she and her husband were very controlling in that they were the healers and they didn't like having anybody else do it. I wanted to be a healer because DPS is probably the low end of everybody's DPS. And there's tanks and healers. Well, you get add-ons that tell you how you're doing your healing, and I studied it, got all the add-ons, practiced, went into public raids, and those are the hardest to heal because nobody coordinates. There's no voice coordination or anything. Well, when I went in with our guild, we'd have to rely on guild chat or if we had voice going along. Well, they sat next to each other, so they didn't need to communicate that way. So I made it very difficult for tertiary healers, or even secondary if only one of them was on. And It got to the point where they would purposely make it look like I was not healing well when I could prove that I did. First time I thought, I'll admit it right out if I'm a bad healer, but I can look at, there's stat collectors you get. It shows you what type of heals you did. I didn't do anything bad, but they eventually just got me kicked out. It's like, I don't need this aggravation. Because at that point, I had reached my max characters, and I decided I was done and went off to different games. I did get a new computer, this one I'm currently on, because when I played it, I didn't have the, let me give you a full, excuse me, full effect here. Now, when you see a character's name, you'll see their guild name beneath them. Like this person standing up here does not have shields. Wraith is a paladin level 11 with no guild. Anyway, that was kind of the breaking point for me with WoW because I'd done most everything. I had 70 characters max level at the time, and these are traveling vendor mounts you can get. That's a flying mount. You can see it's a dragon one and other different ones you can get. Once you get them for one character, you get them across the other characters. You just have to get the riding skill to ride them. And you can ride a flying mount, you just can't fly. You can see how the town is kind of set up. Music is very pretty, even on the Horde side. I say that because I played 8 or 9 years on the Alliance side and learned to hate the Horde. I absolutely hated them. When I worked at Geek Squad part-time, and one of the expansions, they have other games, we call them DLCs, came out, there was about, 50 to 80 people in line waiting, and we found out about 90% of them played Horde. Because there's a saying that you can get t-shirts that say that real players play Horde. And there's the favorite story I have is there's an Alliance castle in there, I forget where it is, but I had 3 max level assassin or rogues, and when you leave the game, you can cloak and go in a corner and leave, and I plant them in 3 different places within this castle. Well, I would come in on one, go around and kill the NPCs, and if there were characters there, player characters, they died too. I make no excuses. Back then it was PvP. Now I think you have to be flagged. Too many people whined and cried about it. But I'd get all the guards running over, and people would be running, and I'd go in the corner, log out, log into my other rogue on the other side of the castle, do the same thing, log out, and then I'd repeat it a third time on the rogue and yet a third part. And then I'd get on my Alliance character in the same castle and listen to the commentary and try to figure out how this rogue was moving so fast, what guild name they were. It was cruel but funny. Alright, that's enough of the Horde. So now let's go look at the side that I got initially drawn into, and that was a Night Elf. Oh, what's up here is the that must be how you. Yeah, they're seeing up here. My camera thing was in the way. I didn't see it. And much like the Horde side, you can go through. The Night Elf had a very pretty area. And you can't use the same name on both sides, even on the same server. It used to be you could, but I think they changed that. So I came out of Diablo, and my first introduction was the Night Elf side. And it was amazing compared to how you play in Diablo 2, later on 3, to see how the color and the character and everything is.
After years of imprisonment within the Emerald Nightmare, Archdruid Malfurion Stormrage has finally
You can see how pretty it
to
is.
the mortal world. Reunited with his love, Tyrande Whisperwind, Malfurion endeavors now to heal the corrupted world tree Teldrassil and rejuvenate the spirit of the Night Elf people. Yet as the great cataclysm shakes the boughs of their colossal tree, the Night Elves
the artwork is incredible, but it lulls you into playing. It's like in Vegas. They don't have clocks or any other distractions.
To stand strong.
As far as you're concerned, the world stands still while you're in there. So when you travel, you get XP for areas you travel to. If you die, you end up rezzing in a graveyard and you have to go back to your corpse. Back in the day of the PvP, you get what's called corpse campers. That was their whole fun in the game. They'd go find a low level and kill them, and when you res, they know where you're. And you could res at a graveyard, but that would be a win for them. And you would go along, and people would quit the character when you'd see bodies lying there, remains. Anyway, I got to be uncampable because I would go around the maximum circle of resurrection of my character, and when I once led a horde across an entire continent, because they would sit and wait, and I'd be up and gone, and then they'd find me, of course. But it was my turn to laugh at them. But you can see the, oops, I'll zoom out here, and just the beauty of the area. Even now, when you go through it and compare it to what you were used to with Diablo, you can see how it's like literally the wow factor. I hate to say that with wow, but Orgrimmar for the Horde and Stormwind for the Alliance. It's the human starting area. Are probably two more known cities. Each race has a capital city in their area. I'll take you to the elf one here. As Horde, we love trying to kill those giants. You get XP for going.
I am honored.
And the video didn't make, I thought I was recording. My Horde took a wrong turn. I ended up going in a whole different direction. I was coming back. I leveled up to level 2 just by traveling. So. There used to be a race, I can't remember if it was Alliance, pretty sure it was Alliance. In order to get Stormwind, you had to go take a boat to another continent and run up this long road, and the quest would be to get there without being killed. I did it once out of, I don't know how many hundreds of tries. It's very rare. A friend of mine did it like on his third attempt. And when you're a hunter, you get special pets that you can train, but they only spawn at certain times. And there's all kinds of stories of people just never getting it. And when at some point they decided to share areas between servers and made it even more difficult because hunters would come all over. And a friend I worked with was big into hunting, and there was a pet that he was just bound and determined to get, and it took him months to get it, but I listened to him tell the stories of it, so I prepared, watched the videos, and I got it within 2 days. Luck of the draw. Nothing but being good. It's been the right place at the right time. Because there's other people will see a hunter training a pet, and they'll kill the pet, which is because they get a hide thing they can turn in. It's just an annoying thing. Yeah, I forgot they took away the PvP side. It's not as normal. You can flag yourself. But the music kind of changes as you go along. See how beautiful it is. These are the guards. If you're a horde, they will attack you. Or if you're in Horde land, in Alliance, the same thing will happen. So when you go raid a city or a small town, they will come out in droves. They're tougher than they look. This is the main gate to Teldrassil. They believe in having big architecture. Or Darnassus, I'm sorry. Teldrassil, Darnassus. This is where you have vendors and flight points and portals to different areas eventually. If there's portal, I'm gonna go look. I can't remember if there's portals here or not. I think you have to open them with quests. You go look at your character. You have your standard kind of inventory. Equipment manager. You can at 10 you can get different equipment layouts. You have a bank where you can mail stuff between gold or items that are not character bound, bind on pickup. There's bind on pickup and bind on use. Bind on pickup means that's bound to that character forever and ever. With bind on use, you can send to another character. People would sell them. You come into the bank. This is where you can store stuff, and guilds would have their own guild bank. You can purchase tabs. And then guilds can control. Let's see. I'll show you the ships. It'd just be easier to go over the human side to show you Stormwind anyway. With the botting, that was just the fun when we knocked off about 500 accounts. How I lose. Go through the portal, sometimes I lose. Now, you notice when I was, if you're in town and you log out right away. If you're out in the wilds, there's a timer. So I'm gonna create a human character just to show you the. Northshire Valley. This is a paladin character. I didn't. Both sides have very good storylines. And you can play for free up to level 20. You just have to give up the disk space to do it. There's also armor you can get that levels with you that you buy. There's microtransactions in the store to buy them, and those help you level
Emboldened by
faster.
the return of their heroic king, Varian
That's
Wind,
Stormwind.
the proud humans of Stormwind led the Alliance to victory in its war against the dreaded Lich King. While successful, the campaign in Northrend proved costly, and the humans now seek to bolster their strategic holdings throughout the world. Under Varian's daring leadership, humanity now braces itself for a renewed conflict with its perennial enemy, the Horde. Yet, as the great cataclysm rips across the world, familiar threats have once again arisen closer to home. It now falls to you.
There's motorcycle mounts. I have them on my other
the
characters.
honor of humanity.
Yeah, it's very pretty. And with the sidecar, as you can see here, so there's you're the rider. I think there's another version you can get that you're actually carries two people. I know there's mounts that can carry multiple people. When you get into guilds, you could have what I've called a tabard, and your tabard is designed by the GM, guildmaster. The also thing is there's forums for the servers, and that can get interesting too. I ran into trolls there for the first time. And the sad but true story is I became evil, for want of a better term, is I'd had a frustrating day on one of the battlegrounds, and I went out to post about nobody was coordinating, just blowing off steam. And these people came in and changed the whole topic of my post, or not the topic, but the thread. They diverted it. They did it quite a bit, so I kind of filed a report and complained, and I started noticing to others. Well, the moderators took note and went after them, and I don't know how they figured out it was me. I always thought there was a GM, or not a GM, but a moderator amongst these people. And we had it in with them because they would get banned because I've learned in life when you get really angry that you be polite and use big long words. Well, they didn't. They use all kinds of swear words. Swear words are not permitted necessarily by TOC, terms of conduct, and they would get banned. I got template banned for reporting too many people at one point. It was kind of funny, but no, they got banned. Then when there was one guy that had been doing it for a long time, and he had some issues personal to him outside the game, and he was using it to play in the game and write little diatribes about his views on life, and he thought he was untouchable. And I didn't mean for it to happen, but he got out of line and got enough reports and he was banned. And when they ban you, they delete all of your posts, every one of them. There's no way to get him back. And that made him even more angry. And I felt bad, and just a little bit of me. Those are duelers. You can duel in here. That's the minion of a warlock. Much like when I was telling a story of my daughter, I transferred a character to and met my old warlock and didn't realize it on the battleground. Pandas are neutral until they get to a certain level. There was a guy that leveled up a panda max level without picking a side, only by herbing and mining. And it's a lonely way to play because after a certain point, they just blessed me with speed. Anyway, they made a statue for him. After 20, you don't see other characters, so you don't even see other players. And there was a guy that did a bare-fisted warrior. This is the main castle with the flight points. And vendors for the swift mounts.
Great to meet you.
You can see how you can buy them.
Keep your feet on the ground.
You can go outside the castle. And you can drown. Go fishing. In some areas, there's rare fish. That was an achievement to get. It's a fishing trainer. And it was really fun. There's rare fish in Ogrimmar that I have fished and gotten as an alliance, which is tricky. Easiest way to do that is you strip off your armor. There's a big mount. The person is level 60. Not Tauren. They're Tauren, they're being attacked. Draenei, I think. Draenei males are big. Tauren are the bull-like characters. Yeah, you can go around and Zerlish is City and Warders. I don't know what that is. But you have your vendors, repairs, the banks. When they raid a town, Stormwind is in Orgrimmar were raided a lot. You come in here, everybody would be dead, including the bankers, and that always annoyed people. Oh, this is auctioneer, not the bank. Sorry. Auctioneers, you can put stuff up for sale. So free accounts, you can't. This is the bank, which we touched on in the elf area. You can go in and store stuff. So you have banks in all the major towns. But yeah, that's Warcraft. And these are inns. So you can set your Hearthstone. So you have a Hearthstone with your character. And the Hearthstone can be set to a certain inn, so you can always come back. So not only just a flight point, you get a Hearthstone. There's a game called Hearthstone Blizzard has. Maybe based upon that. But if you come to an inn, see this is a level 70. They have the Guildless Jester Math or whatever. The Guildless is what it shortens it to. But you can see all the different outfits. But that is World of Warcraft. You know, someday I might come back. You never know. Again, check out Chaotic Good Brewing here in Casson. They're not paying me to crow about them. I like going there for Dungeons and Dragons. I have not done Magic the Gathering, but they have that there. I've done trivia. A couple other with Bink. The difference between bingo and bink is you need a license, gambling license for bingo, even if cash is not involved. But if you take and put a slash through the O and make it bink, you don't need a license. But anyway, check out breweries in your area and see how they match up. And that's that for World of Warcraft. I even got it recording this time. Please subscribe and like. Have a good one. Peace out.